committee members were, or the committee member was able to look over the minutes and prove it.
This is your alternative.
Me?
Oh, so you got two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I so move that we accept the minutes as they are.
All right. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, minutes approved. All right, item agenda number 1, Wayne. Authorization to make budget and program changes to the 2021 action plan for the city's 5-year consolidated plan for community planning and development program for 2020 through 2024.
That's correct. This is a local amendment. We're just required by HUD at the end of a performance period to close out the grant, and this is what we're asking you to approve, that we can close this grant out. The actual act is called a GONE Act. We just have to comply with that.
Okay.
And the money's been spent and drawn, so we're good there.
So let's open the close.
Mr. Chair, amendment of the funding amount after change reallocation, $134,000.
We ended up with 134,805 is what we spent. The contract was for 35 cents more than that, so that'll just go back into our available.
Wow.
Yeah.
35%. Y'all listen. Y'all made good of uses of it, didn't you? Cool.
Your motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Eh,
Thank you, Wayne. Item agenda number 2, Ms. Heather Hill. Resolution to adopt home ARP allocation plan and to submit this plan to HUD.
Okay, and this would amend our 2021 action plan to adopt that home ARP allocation plan for the $1,719,375.
Okay.
Heather, I came, well, I think that was the 5-year plan, but I want to, first of all, commend you all for how you all make some diligent moves in receiving the funds and working the funds and helping our community. I wish and would hope that those that are watching would also take, notice to contact your office with their needs. Mr. Chair, I so move.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Sure.
Question.
Yeah.
What was the allocation of the 1.7 million?
So our last
Is-
CD meeting, that presentation where we were allocating the funds, we put $1 million towards new construction of rental units. We had admin in there, we had supportive services as well.
So when we put $1 million towards construction of new rental units, how are those constructed? Is there an RFP put out?
So we will follow our normal process with all of our federal funding. We normally do a notice of funding opportunity. So once HUD approves our allocation plan, then we can proceed with the activities that we're interested in. So we'll release that notice of funding opportunity, and people will respond to it that are interested in doing that type of work.
But the notice of funding opportunity notifies people that there's funding available, right?
And that there's an application that they
For
can.
so for the construction of rental units, what happens? Do builders apply to get funding to build rental units? How does that work?
So we normally get developers that will respond. So just like when we're getting ready to do our action plan, we have an application process. They can respond, like for instance, Habitat responds to our notice to build new homeowner single family units. It'll be the same type of process. We'll state what we're looking for, the confines of the grant, and they'll respond, and if they meet the criteria, we'll proceed from there.
So $1 million to construction of new rental units, how much to admin?
It's like 267 or something like that.
260.
And then there was,
Is that our
that's
admin?
our admin.
That's our admin.
To administer the program.
That's bringing 260 in to help spread around and pay for the cost of administering, and what was the other one?
Supportive services. So, as I mentioned in the last presentation, this is not normal home. It supports our at-risk of homeless population and homeless population. So there's services in there for like housing counseling, homeless prevention, case management, street outreach,
And
shelter,
that's
things
under
of that
the
nature.
supportive services.
Mhm.
And does that work like the notice of funding opportunity to the builders? Is that,
So
is
that's
there
more,
some notice put out to those agencies or organizations
so they'll get the same
that
type of,
provide these services and they apply for it?
yes, sir, they'll get the same type of notice.
Okay.
So that'll go out to we push out, we have an engagement listing, and we push that out as well as advertise in the paper and on our website. So it'll
Alright,
push out to all
so
those agencies.
so we get to 1.7, we make some big chunk decisions. 1 million building rental units, 260-ish for administration and whatever's left out of that for supportive services. So we don't, other than our city portion of that, we don't know who that's going to until those opportunities are made public and entities apply and I assume are evaluated and awarded.
That's correct.
Is that
So
done by us?
that's done by us, so we'll follow the same process we do for the action plan.
Thank you, I don't have any other questions.
All right.
I made a motion. And a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution passed. Thank you. Thanks, Evan. Item agenda number 3, CHIP. Lead hazard abatement program discussion.
I was just gonna give you an update on the lead hazard abatement program. We've got this new poster, I passed it around for y'all, but this was something that communications did for us, and, it's just, we're gonna use it to market the program, to try to get more applicants. But basically, we've, thus far, we've gotten about 200 applicants, but only about a quarter of those qualify for the program, so we've got about 50 homes that we've tested. And of those 50 homes, only 30 of them had actually lead paint in them. So we're in the process of finishing up our environmental reviews, and then we'll get into those houses and abate the lead paint for those 30. But the ultimate goal is to get to 125 houses before the grant runs out next summer. And so we really need a lot more applications. So one of the reasons I was here today was to encourage y'all to encourage your constituents that, can meet the program requirements to apply to have their homes tested for lead paint. And basically, the house needs to be built before 1978. There needs to be a child under the age of 6 associated with the house, or a pregnant mother, and then it needs to be inside the city limits.
Is there some social media marketing tools we can use to get out there?
So far,
As far as this?
well, this will be, I'm gonna put these posters up at facilities all over the city, bigger than this, but then this size too.
We can get that, yeah.
Visual, okay, that's all I did. I want to put it out there.
Right, and I've got plenty of them, so,
Okay.
and
Give
then
me some.
also, go ahead.
I said, give me some, a couple of them,
The,
and as well as the ones that we put on social media, on our media outlets.
And so our goal, we talked about, we're trying to plan like a unity thing. I call it a Healthy Homes Fair, where I'd like to do it at Palmore Park, where we have the police out there and the, fire department, and
Yeah.
just have a Healthy Homes Fair where we have Maud Watley out there taking, blood pressures, have the EMS prevention people out there, and the fire department, paramedics. We just haven't, every time we try to plan it, it seems like something else comes up, weather or football or whatever, so that's one of my goals. But then we've also tried to piggyback on some of the Unity Fest that we want to market the program to that. But then also, once I get into the houses and start abating the lead, Caramel and I will start visiting churches and encouraging people to, apply to the program. So,
Let me ask you a question. You just said visiting different, you look in many of the houses that were built prior to 1978, and people that perhaps qualify for these resources and services. Sometimes when you go to the church, you may say, the pastor is a great person to go to, hands down, but the pastors are busy. It would probably be better suited to ask the pastor for a missions person that can help you identify different persons within the areas that you need, and have a contact number for that missions person that can get you to everything that you're trying to accomplish.
right.
Because a pastor will will tell you, hey, I'm with you, and they are. We are, but we forget.
Right.
we forget.
Another, one of the things Carol's mentioned is, Wednesday nights with, if they're having a gathering where the older people are gonna be there.
They come.
Maybe they would let us just get there and, say, hey.
Make a
here's what we got,
presentation,
that
yeah.
kind of thing. So that's
They
what we're
will.
looking forward to.
Yeah, I'll help you with that. Let me know.
But, any help, and the other thing is that, when people call and ask about getting into the program, they assume it's some kind of home repair renovation program. It's not really that. We're testing for lead-based paint. Now, if we do find lead-based paint on wooden windows, we're probably gonna replace the windows. But
Right.
if we only find it on one window, we can't replace all the windows in the house.
Yeah.
That's just the way the HUD is. And so it's kind of discouraging when, I've actually had people where, they've been tested and not had any lead paint, and I call them up or send them a letter and tell them, hey, your house is lead free, and they've been pretty upset. Well, that means I'm not getting any new windows. Well, that's been frustrating.
Hey,
So
looking for it.
as you're reaching out to your constituents,
Yeah.
this isn't a guaranteed home improvement
Yeah.
program we have. But, and fortunately too, of the houses we've been in, only one or two has really had a lot of lead paint hazards. And of those homes, the children that went and got tested to see if they had lead in their blood, they did not. So at least we know that, as far as we know, nobody's really hopefully being health-wise affected by lead paint houses in Tuscaloosa.
Thanks, Sheila. And you said we can get that social media information with Lil Paris to help us with it.
I appreciate it.
You know, that fair you're talking about, we love to have that in District 7, which I'll find somebody.
We'll
Well,
look.
I mean, I want to get the helicopter out there and food trucks and,
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I'll find a spot. Thank you, man.
All right, thank you.
All right, I'm sorry. Next up, we got, from the Drake Tuscaloosa Build Program.
All right.
Do it.
All right. So as you know, Tuscaloosa Bill supports diverse business and by building capacity, community, and relationships. Just a brief overview, since Tuscaloosa Bill's inception through the end year 2022, Tuscaloosa Bill's participants were utilized in the grand total of $127,739,930. Tuscaloosa Bills is utilized by, of course, the City of Tuscaloosa, PARA, UA, the Tuscaloosa Housing Authority, and Tuscaloosa City Schools and businesses receiving incentives from the City of Tuscaloosa. Tuscaloosa Bills currently has 290 participants. We have the capacity to reach 888 providers, which includes certified vendors. Tuscaloosa Bills' Facebook has 320 followers. We continue to meet monthly. Since I was with you last, we've had a habitat build. We had a great turnout with our diverse business mixer. This was in collaboration with the Chamber's Diverse Business Council. We have had highlights for Black History Month, Women's History Month. We are completing that next week. And on tomorrow, we, in collaboration with Regions Bank, Tuscaloosa Bills host a small business boot camp. This is a two-part series. Tomorrow's event is specific for startups.
Where would that be?
Will be at the Edge. Both programs will be at the Edge. They will both be from 3 to 5 p.m. At the Edge on 10th Avenue across from
Is that open to
Rosedale.
the public?
Sir?
Is that open to the public?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool.
And on April 12th will be the growth plan. We are also hosting a vendor fair at the River Market that's April 27th, and that time is to be determined. And if I could ask one thing of you, if you haven't already, like the city, Tuscaloosa Bills Facebook page so that you can share our events with your family
I was
and
just about to
friends.
ask you, how can people learn of these upcoming events, so it's all posted on,
Facebook.
okay, Tuscaloosa Bill Facebook
Y'all been
page.
busy.
Yeah.
Y'all been
Updates.
working.
Yeah,
Yes,
that
we
sounds
are.
I
good.
know y'all working.
All right.
Yeah.
See,
That sounds
Any
good.
the
questions?
whole CDBG working.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know that. That's my
I
committee,
see
I'm
you
proud to
there.
be over.
So almost 2 million.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know what I mean?
Oh, wow. Y'all did good.
That's good.
Yeah, that's the end,
Who
22
who you don't see.
Yeah, we definitely
That's what-
are looking forward for an increase
Okay.
for 2022.
Right.
So, okay, wait, now you say you're looking for an increase in participants? So
And
y'all-
participants as well as earnings. So
Okay.
we're always looking for other avenues for Tuscaloosa Bills to be used, such
Yeah,
as the
yeah.
Realtors Association. We
okay.
have, we are putting together programming to to launch or to introduce Tuscaloosa Bills to those other agencies.
I like that, I like that.
So let me ask you a question. Can we, and y'all, you got it going on.
Mm-hmm.
If people call us and wanna know who is certified and is there a database for them to, or do you want them to just call you?
I would appreciate it if they call me.
Okay.
Come straight to the source.
There you go.
I like that.
And, so, you know, if everybody in social media world land, go and like our page on Tuscaloosa Bills, please, do it immediately.
What's
So that
the
you can keep
official,
up.
what's the official name,
Anyway,
sir?
right?
Yes, it's Tuscaloosa Bills, right? I see that under the government page, you see Tuscaloosa.com. All right, so, any other questions or comments? All right, if not, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?